Okay. Welcome, Herb.
All righty, let's go right into this. I'm going to move fairly quickly through this. And so just pay attention, ask questions as I go through it. I'll be happy to pause and answer any questions. There are a lot of slides and it's fine print, so it's mainly to introduce the idea and the tools that some of the tools that us syndicators use. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here, and these are some of the, I think I have 4 tools on here that we use. 4 of the main important tools that we use, and I'll start with a Smart Syndicator. It's a CRM tool that allows you to communicate with your investors consistently and organize your deals and your deal flow. So this is a dashboard right here. And feel free to stop me and ask questions as we go. I'll just move through this fairly quickly. So
is there any way you can make it a little bigger? That's all.
I can. Let's try this. I don't, let's see if I can figure out how to make it bigger. There.
Oh, okay.
That's really big, but
Too big.
we
Yeah.
can't see the whole.
All right, never mind. Just go back. I'll just
Yeah, I'm not teaching you how to use it, right?
Okay.
I'm just telling you what we use. Hopefully my internet connection will stay with us here. So that's why I turned my camera off. Hopefully it's good enough Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, I can see it.
Basically it tells you right here on this funnel, on the funnel, the top left quadrant shows us how many people called or messaged, like how many replied. And because this platform does texting and emails, and they're all combined using the same templates. There's all the pre-made templates on the platform. And then I'll move on to contacts. Here are, I'm sorry, these are conversations. You can go through and communicate with all your people. And there's a little symbol by each one. It says whether it was a text or an email. And all your most recent messages over here on the left. Then here is contacts. So I whited it, blurred out all the contact information, but you have your names, phone numbers, emails, and those are the numbers and emails that the platform uses to text and email. So any questions so far?
So how do people get into the system? Like, how do you get a name into the system? So
That's a great question. In the top left corner, there's a little plus right here. That's the way I can manually enter one at a time if I want to, one at a time. If I have a list of names that I've got, from my email address or my phone contacts, I'll send them to Smart Syndicator and they'll upload them for me all at once. And another thing, right here's all your controls across the top. There's this little robot looking head right here by the top left where my cursor is right now. Okay. That is the automated system. So if I want to, for example, when I'm ready to send out my monthly newsletters, I'll click on all the little boxes on the right. I'll just click on and select all, and then I'll click on that little robot and it pops up and it tells me, it'll ask me which email I want to send out because I have all my emails saved. I can show you that later. And I just select what I want and I can send them all at once, or I can send them on drip mode, like 30 per hour, or I can spread them out over a long period of time if I want to. Typically I'll do 50 or 100 an hour, so if you have 1,000 contacts, then 100 an hour, what's that, 10 hours, they're all out, right? So it doesn't break the system or show up as spam less likely if they're not all at once.
Gotcha.
So I'll move on to the next slide. Oh, one more thing, right along the top, the words along the top left. One of them says mastermind, one of them says raise one. One of them says those are tags. So I tag all my contacts that way. So we have a mastermind, a weekly mastermind. And when people register for our mastermind, it's automatically tagged as mastermind. That way they get the reminders like 30 minutes before the meeting starts and all that. It's an automated system. So those are my groups along the top. So I'll move on to the next one is called opportunities. On this window, we have columns like people that contacted us. There is a little card for each one. We can move it over as we take care, as we respond, as we send out the request, as all the way over to signing the PPM and wiring the money to a specific deal. And wire received over here on the far right. And on the program, I can actually click on one of these name cards and drag it over as I follow up with these contacts during a raise, typically, right? During a raise for a deal that we're, acquiring at the time. So I'll move on down to marketing. This is the marketing window, and we have across the top left, there's emails, and then there's templates, and then there's trigger links. So all that's some of the automated process that I can select. So I'll go in templates to make a template or to create an email out of a template that's already there. And there's email campaigns. I can create my campaign, and then I can, then the next page is automation. That's where we set up the automation and to send out, and would name our lead flow, our workflow, and that way it just sends it out for us and automatically follows up if we tell it to follow up. So any questions?
So that must save you a lot of time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's how I can manage, 1,500 contacts, send out an email every month. All I do is spend, a few hours coming up, editing the email template for next month, right? Come up with some information. And it's all pre-made templates. So we just put in what we want, update it, and save it, and then create a workflow in the automations, and boom, there it goes.
Is there like a newsletter template too?
Absolutely. Yes. There are a lot of templates, a lot of newsletter templates as well on the platform.
Okay.
So now I'll move on to sites. So this platform holds our website. So up across the top left, it says sites, funnels, websites, blogs, forms, surveys. And on the website tab, I'll click on that and it'll open up our website, and it'll show all our pages, like the home page, the contact us page, we have a mastermind page, and I can click on whichever one I want, and I can edit it right there. So if I want to edit my website in 5 minutes, I just open it up, make some changes, update some information, save it, and it's updated in real time.
Nice.
So there you go.
Wow.
And that site
So
is
we also,
hosted, is that hosted on Smart Syndicator, your website?
yes, it is. And it's all paid for the price that Smart Syndicator is. I don't have this. I'm just showing the tool I use. So
Yeah,
you'd have to reach out to Smart Syndicator, right, to get pricing and all.
and I think you said it's like a one-time setup and then a monthly fee, something like that, right?
That is one of their packages,
Okay.
right?
okay.
So I have a QR code I printed it on the back of my business card. And so if people don't want to deal with a business card, they want to exchange information, I'll just show them the back of my business card, which has a QR code, and it automatically puts it into this system. So
wow.
right here in the middle, one of these options is a business card funnel. And so that's set up to where when they scan my QR code and they put their information, contact information in, it automatically puts it into this platform. So there's
That's
no work for me
fantastic.
if they do the QR code.
That's
And,
great.
yeah, and then there's training resources on the platform. There's a marketplace, and there are lots of resources on marketplace. They have trusted vendor networks like CPAs, accountants, legal, PPM drafting, legal attorneys, how to start podcasts, how to build your brand, how to protect your intellectual property, how to copyright, logo design, and all these things are available on the platform as well. And
That's
they
amazing.
also have virtual assistant hiring service, a done for you service where they'll do the vetting, make sure it's the person that you want. It might be from the Philippines or some other country, right? Where they'll maybe work for $400 or $500 a week.
Yeah.
I have some of those as well. So that's very helpful.
And how many hours are they doing for you? About 30, 40?
It all varies.
Oh,
Yeah. So currently I don't have any full-time, right? So
okay.
I've had a full-time for 30 hours a week, and that person was about $400 a month.
Okay. Oh, a month?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And yeah, so it becomes very affordable if you have profitable things for them to do, something that's repeatable, something that you can hand off. And that's all with Smart Syndicator. I'll move on to cash flow portal next if you're good.
Ken, did you have any questions? So this is, generally a CRM that has a lot of support in it. Smart Syndicator will take on some of the functions like helping you build out the website if you need, offering vendor that, they're probably advertising, paying them or something to be on the system, but hey, they're vetted and it has all the templates. So, so at what point in your, syndicated process did you get this? Like, where were you in your, had you already acquired the 128 unit apartment, or did you start with?
I started with this first, and I started warming up my contacts, my contact list, because a lot of the people that I know personally are are not in the real estate space, right? And
Okay.
so I'm warming them up to what I'm doing, and all those warm up emails and texts are on the platform already. And I just select, certain ones, tell them what I'm doing, if they're interested, how it works, what kind of returns and all that. I was warming up the audience before I asked, opened up an offering for these people that I knew. And of course I called and talked to the people as well. This will never take away, talking face to face or conversation with people, but it would definitely reach 1,500 people in a day, right? And you just can't call that many people in a day and have a nice conversation, right, with that many.
No, and how often are you sending out
So
the communication, like weekly or?
monthly? Oh,
You're sending out
well,
a month.
yes, I did more often in the beginning, but now it's almost a year later now, and I do it monthly now, a monthly newsletter.
Okay.
Right? Some contacts will take years before they ever invest. Some will never invest, but that's okay. But some will, be interested because they're already familiar and they're like, yes, this is what we are looking for. So it can help.
Yeah.
It really helps speed up the process. So I'll move on to another tool that we use, cash flow portal, and there's many of these. Just like CRMs, there's many CRM platforms, but there's probably not a lot specific of CRM specifically for syndicating apartments, right? So this has it's tailored toward that. And the same with cash flow portal. There's lots of other, there's Syndicator Pro, there's lots of other tools out there to do what this does. But this really helps. It manages all of the investors' money. So it records the amount, the percent of the transaction that each investor made, and then it divides out the profits as distributions are made, and then as capital gains at sale, it divides all that out, and it provides information like for the K-1s and the tax, the year-end tax work as well. So it's not a CPA, accountant, but it prepares the totals for each investor for the accountant.
Okay, so it's not to replace the CPA.
Correct. And if you go on my website,
Oh wait, Svetlana's here. Hold on, I'm gonna admit. Let's just welcome him.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just one second. We had Svetlo joining. Hi, Svetlo. How are you?
Howdy. Hey.
Good. So Herb is here. He just went over one of the tools, the Smart Syndicator, and he's about to start going over another tool called Cash Flow Portal. So if you want to just start at the beginning of Cash Flow Portal, Herb.
Right. This is the first sheet of cash flow portal here. So this is a tool that manages our money and the investors' money for the deal. It divides out the percentage of ownership, and it divides out the distributions. Like when we sell the deal, the capital gains and all gets divided out based on the percent of ownership. And so it automates the system for the accountant. It'll prepare the totals for K-1s. It's not your accountant, but it will prepare.
We just kind of went out.
The totals for your accountant for year-end paperwork as well. Go on my web. You say I faded out?
Yeah.
Am I breaking up?
A little bit, yes.
Well, maybe the internet will stay in here. Okay, so if you go on my website, and I think the last page it says invest with us. And if you click on it, it'll take you into cash flow portal. So we never see all that information. It goes directly to cash flow portal. And whenever we have an offering, like another apartment deal up for investing, it will show in the cash flow portal, and you'll be able to log back into your portal on our website and see the deal and look over the deal and read the PPM and everything.
So, so if I sign up to see on your website, do I have access to view my documents or my funds too, or is it only you sending it to me? But as an investor, let's say in your deal, can I sign into something and look at?
Oh, yes. You can see the dashboard of that deal. Yes, you can see how much money you invested in that deal. You can see how the deal is performing. You can see all of your distributions. Yeah, so, and if you invest with more than one deal with us on cash flow portal, you'll be able to see all of the deals that you invested with. So it keeps it all organized, and it tells you what percent you own of the deal.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
here are some other resources on the cash flow portal website, by the way. There's other events coming up. They post on here. And here's other vendors as well. Rod Cleef, Michael Blanc, Brad Sumrock, Ray's Masters. They connect syndicators to syndicators.
That's nice.
So there you go. Yeah, it makes it very, and so on my, since I'm a syndicator and an investor, I have both sides. So I
Okay.
can touch this little button here on the left side, the blue switch to syndicating button,
Oh, yeah.
and it'll switch back from investor to syndicator. So I can see both sides of my platform. And by the way, if you're a syndicator, you can go on a cash flow portal website and you can sign up and you can have this for free until you raise capital.
That's amazing.
So I think that might be different than some of the other platforms out there. You might not have access until you start paying their monthly fee or whatever. But this platform, you can have it for free. You can set up your logo and all your information until you start raising capital. So they bill by the month based on your capital raise. And there again, I'm not selling the product. I'm just showing you what I use, and you're welcome to, find out, what their fees are, their price points.
Yeah, I get it.
And
That's
so now I'll move on to another document, RACI document. If you have any
Okay.
questions on the last one, just let me know.
Well, hold on. Does anyone have any questions on the cash flow portal?
No, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Good here. Thank you, Donna.
All right, good.
All right. Thank you. I would turn my camera on too, but my internet's breaking up, and I'm going to lose you if I turn it on.
All right, so let's explain what RACI stands for. RACI. It's really a project management tool.
Oh, it is.
R is to say who is responsible for the action.
It is. It's basically organization with leaders. Okay, and I know this is fine print, and I can send this sheet to you. I can email it to everyone on the call. This is simply a copy of the RACI form. So, and it's everything to do with the syndicating process. So over here we have our risk capital, we have our balance sheet guarantor.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to explain the RACI to them so they know what they're looking at.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, so R means that person is responsible for that activity. And A means they're accountable for it, overall
Yes.
accountability. C means they're consulted,
Right?
right? And I means that they're informed or interested. What do you have there?
Yep. Informed.
Informed.
Yep.
So by looking
And
at this and all the tasks under each, you can see, let's say there's names across the top, somebody's names, that's a general partner, right? Is that what you're putting in the column 1, B, C, D,
Oh,
E?
absolutely. Yes, you put the name of your partners and the responsible parties up there across the top from B through all the way across the sheet. And I'll email you this sheet so you
Okay.
can be able to see it. I don't expect you to read everything on it right now. I just wanted to show you a tool that we use. And just because somebody is responsible to get certain information, don't mean they're the accountable one, right? So there might be 4 or 5 responsible, but there might be one accountable party, right? So we look at, the one that's accountable to make sure it does happen on time, right? And if
Right.
not, we reach out to the other parties. And so there you go.
Yeah, so go
Any
down
questions?
column A a little bit so we can see some of the tasks.
This is a screenshot.
Oh,
This is just to
so
show you
I
what
mean, like where it says
here.
risk capital and balance sheet. Okay, so these
Oh,
are some of the
absolutely.
tasks.
Yes, so the top left says risk capital, like the application fees, the due diligence, and so forth. That may be certain people may be accountable for that, right? Or responsible to pay that, but
Mhm.
everybody may not. Right.
Right,
So you
right.
select who's paying for it up front. And balance sheet guarantor is the next line item. Asset management. You have a lot of items there. So I don't expect us to read all this or see it all tonight. I just wanted to show it to you, and I can I'll email the sheet to you.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, and I can get it over
Okay,
to
so
Svetlana. Any
then the next
questions
sheet,
on that before we move on? Any questions on this? So like basically in column A, you make a list of all the activities and then across the top it's who the GPs are and then what they're responsible, accountable, consulted, or informed about.
Mhm.
Svetla's got it. Ken, you good?
Yeah.
thumbs up. All
Okay.
righty. We'll keep moving on here. This is our property analyzer spreadsheet. And here again, I don't expect you to read all of it or be able to see all of it because it's fine print. Just wanted to show you one of the tools we use. This is the property data. If you look down across the bottom, you have the tabs, the property data tab, then the next tabs will be on the next sheets. I'll show you in a minute. You have your asking price, you have your number of units, financing, your interest rates, and your closing costs and all that. And then you'll put in your amount of units and the rent they're getting, the rates, the current rates, and then the pro forma rates. And this next sheet's a 5-year analysis, cash flow analysis. And there's a lot that goes into this sheet. This is actually a very simple sheet compared to some of the analyzers out there, but it works very well. And this is proprietary property, so I can't share this sheet with you, but I'm just showing you. This is what we show, for example, on a slide deck when we're presenting a deal, we're offering a deal. We'll show and we'll go over this in our slide deck, right? Just so you know what we're expecting, what the trailing 12 was, and what we're projecting in year 1 and 2 and 3 up to year 6. And you can
nice.
see what we're expecting the cap rate to be when we sell it down in the lower about middle. We can change the cap rate for what we plan to exit at. So there you go. Then the next sheet is expenses. Let me know if I'm going too fast. I can back up here.
No, I like this. This is helpful. So that
Okay,
was
so
following
the
along.
expenses tab here.
That's a
We put the
T12.
expense in off of the T12, and then we put our pro forma expenses. And if you'll see here, we increase some, decrease some are the same depending on the location of the property, the condition of the property and all.
Okay, so
So-
this is one area that I have a little question on. So when
Sure.
they say pro forma, is that the projected expenses?
Yes, that's what I expect. That's the expense I expect to have the first year I'm operating the unit.
Okay, first year.
Yeah, and then so that's the first year. Okay, so I'll back up to this 5-year analysis. And
Okay,
now this 5-year analysis takes care of increase in expenses. See, we put on this sheet, this is 3%. So in rent increase, we have 3%. We have expenses also increasing 3% on this sheet. I'm not
okay,
telling you what's the correct way. I'm just saying it's adjustable. You can put in what you expect that market to perform.
okay, but so you're inputting the percentages and then the system calculates or the spreadsheet calculates the rest.
Yes. Yes, and I have some nerds on my team that will put about 5 or 10 more spreadsheets in this spreadsheet. Like they'll copy and paste another, like the CapEx budget, they'll put it in the renovation budget, they'll attach the numbers to these numbers. So like at a certain month throughout the year, for example, if we were renovating 3 in June, it'll adjust for the increase in the income, right, from that renovated units, right? And so they get a lot more complicated than what I'm showing you here on this base model.
Okay. So you can
And-
add in other tabs.
Oh, absolutely. It's a glorified Excel spreadsheet.
Got you.
And now this is
Which tab is this?
The,
Sponsor and passive returns. Okay.
yes. So right now the sheet is set on a 80-20 split, 20 to the GP, 80 to the LPs, but you can adjust that. You just change it right here on this top left tab, and it'll show you, it'll project the returns based on how you, divide your profits.
Oh, okay.
And it gives you the IRR, the internal rate of return, and everything on 5-year and 1, 2, and 3 and 4-year. So.
And what's this? Is this a software called Property Analyzer or someone on your team made this?
Oh no, this is it's a Brad Sumrock analyzer.
Oh, okay.
And so I have it because
Well,
I'm
you're
one of
part
the group, yeah. So but I can't share the
That's fine.
spread. But you're welcome to come join us. It's a really good group over there. Actually, this is a QR code for his R2R coming up in March, I think, or April. I'm sorry. I think it's April. And if you this will take you to the link and it'll tell you how much. I think it's $200 or $300 to show up in person for the 3-day event. And that's
Okay.
where he'll show you what he does and all the price points and everything from there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I watched Brad Shamrock presentation on that one. Who's going to be the speakers, what they're going to cover, and he has another event later on in the year. There is a Grant Cardone event also, so we are debating from legends like where to go. Like Alex, he really wants to go to Shamrock, but I don't know. I'm not sure if has been decided yet.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
Shamrock is some rock.
I'm not pronouncing correctly. I'm sorry.
Oh, some
Shamrock.
rock. Shamrock,
My
yeah.
accent. I have an excuse. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's
Oh,
fine.
no worries. Yeah. And this is a QR code to my weekly mastermind. So we do it every Monday evening at 6:30 Central Time.
Okay.
So there you go. We have the website, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yeah, you're missing an
all
E
of
in
that.
LinkedIn, but that's okay. Well, that's awesome.
Okay.
So, and where are you getting your speakers from? You're bringing them in from Some Rocks group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's I would say hundreds of apartment operators in the Sumrock group. And I know a lot of them very well. And also some others. Are you familiar with Tim Mai?
I do know the name. He's a capital raise guy.
Yeah, he had a capital raise summit here in Dallas in December.
Okay.
I know him and a lot of people in his group as well. So
Okay.
some of his group spoke on already too. So
Got you.
and we post all of our weekly meetings up on our Facebook as well. We actually just started our weekly meeting, but we had a podcast going for I don't know, good part of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's all I have.
So you have Brad Sumrock. You find a lot of success with his program. You feel like it's
absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about Brad Summer? Like I'm sure did you see Grant's program or like what is it about Brad's program that you like?
Okay. Here's one of the differences I see with Grant and Brad. Grant's more of an overall, a high level. And Brad is more of one specific thing. So he dives deep into acquiring apartments. And I don't know. I've not been to Grant Cardone's in-person events. I have some of his online training courses. I've done some of those over the past few years, but I don't think I could speak to that very well since I've not been to his in-person events.
But what about Rod Khleif? Have you done any Rod's trainings?
Nothing in person.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I was just curious because I actually see people that are successful out of Rod Sumrock's group. So
yeah, I became GP on my first 128 unit about a year and a half after I joined. And between that time, I built my team. I found my partners, Asif Kumar and Dr. Sanjeev and his wife. So we're pulling together there. So we all run the weekly mastermind together. We're, looking at deals, submitting offers and everything together. So yeah.
No, that's great. So I like what you're saying, that it took you about a year and a half to get involved in the actual property, but in the meantime, you're educating yourself, you were finding your team and, learning as much as you could. And then warming up your audience, if you will.
Right. Absolutely. And we're planning on doing 3 more deals this year, approximately that size. Our target focus is 80 to 200 unit deals. So
Okay.
our target is to take 3 of those. We're saying 3 to 5, but I'm saying 3 this year. So
Well,
that's
that's
our
exciting. That's exciting. So,
Yeah.
so in terms of your location, you're staying in Dallas area, or are you expanding?
We are open to other areas. There are several markets that we're open to. But us personally, we're looking in the DFW area, Dallas and Fort Worth. And
Okay.
that's where our 128 unit is, here in Grand Prairie, right between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay.
And I can stop screen sharing if you're good
Yeah,
now.
that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know if maybe the camera will hold up, the internet, the Wi-Fi will hold up, maybe.
Let's try. Let's try.
It's always better in person. Yeah.
It always is. Oh, so that's your target. So any other tips for, somebody relatively new, not have their first deal? So I like what you said about getting educated, finding the right people to work with, and then, searching out the deals. But was there anything else for beginner real estate investors that you would recommend?
I say get educated first. There's no way I could have, did what I did without good quality education wherever you go, whoever that match is for you. It's not always the same people for, the same person for everybody, but you need to, visit, learn to know some people and find out who you would work the best with. So
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
I'm trying to think of the statistics. Brad Sumrock said, I think he has I think it's over 500. I could be misquoting here. It might be more than that, but like over 500 people that increase their net worth a certain amount, like increase their net worth over $1 million or over 10 million or whatever. I forget the numbers, but it's quite successful. And like all training, it's up to me what I do with it.
Yeah.
Right. There are some people that come and, sit and watch and don't, have progress because maybe they're not doing what it takes or they don't, catch on somehow. But I think the bigger part of the people do catch on and do become what they want. And his biggest focus, Brad Sumrock, I would say, from my opinion, his biggest focus is helping people to become GPs in deals.
Oh, okay. So what about,
here's one thing about Brad. There's go ahead.
No, finish. We'll go to the other stuff.
Oh, I'm saying here's one thing about Brad that's different about another. So I've been through the Rich Dad Real Estate Education Elite Legacy, one of Rich Dad's programs, and I spent as much or more than I did with Brad, but it was a high level, and I learned something about everything real estate, like fix and flips, mobile home parks, mini storage, right? Apartments, commercial, wholesale, and everything. So I learned a lot about real estate. But then, and actually that's where I met someone that was a Sumrock student, and she told me about Sumrock, and eventually I joined that Sumrock's group and focused on apartments because I believe it's a scalable vehicle that will take me where I want to go.
Yeah, that's great. So, hold on. Oh, so So it's education is really the most important thing. So when do you feel supported by Semrock's group? Like now that you have the apartment education? Like, do you feel like you're still learning things, or are you more learning from on the job having the deal?
I mean, that's a great question. I would definitely say both to that. But here's the thing about Semrock's group. They have 11 coaches that are also active investors, GPs. And I can book a call with any one of those coaches as often as I want to, as long as their calendar permits. You have to book it out for a Zoom call, or I can email them or text or call them as well. Sometimes they get booked out a little, but I can always go to another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that was different than the Rich Dad education. They had I paid for a personal mentor for 1 year, and it was 12 visits once a month. And that's not very convenient, because if I'm doing a deal the beginning of the month and my calls at the end of the month, it didn't help a lot, right?
Yeah.
With active deals. Education, of course, but this one I can reach out to anyone I want. If there's one not one is booked out too far, I can go to another one and usually get a Zoom call where we can go over a spreadsheet or go over information that we're getting ready to submit an LOI on a deal, for example, and we
Okay.
need something within the next day or two.
Gotcha. So let's just talk about submitting LOIs, because it's something I have not done yet on multifamily anyway. So I feel nervous about submitting LOIs. What can you tell me? What should I know?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would feel nervous about submitting an LOI is if I'm offering too much. Like, if they're asking way too much and I'm talked into offering something that I know I can't make the numbers work on, then of course that's a bad position, right? Or if it's in a bad location, right? But if you did all your due diligence on the location of the market and the specific location of your deal, and it makes sense with the median household and the rentals they're getting, and for example, my first deal was a C class or C plus in a B class neighborhood, for example. And so there is more room for growth than some circumstances.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Just hang on.
So is it breaking up? I think
Just a tiny little bit there. Yeah.
Okay. It says my internet's unstable, so maybe I won't drop you.
So you're saying you were in getting a C class property in a B class neighborhood?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when you did the LOI, you were basing it on it being a C class, but then you had all the extra value add that you were planning to put into it to up its level, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, so the previous owner started a upgrades program on the units,
Okay.
and proved the system. And so when we took over, we kept the same property management company on board, because they're managing another one of our properties, and they're outperforming on all their pro forma, right? So they're good people. So we kept them on, kept some of the same contractors, keep doing some of the the program that was in place. Right. So that really helped. There's a lot of new construction around this apartment too. So the B class I mentioned. So there's a lot of new retail stores, new restaurants and things right near this area. It's right on the George Bush Tollway on the west side of Dallas, Grand Prairie. And so that's some things that made it a good deal.
Okay. So on your team, are you also looking at deals, or are you mostly managing the things in the portals you were showing us? Like
we're underwriting a couple deals a week
Oh, wow.
right now. I have a call just as soon as we get off here with my partners. We're looking over another deal. We're ready to submit an LOI, so we're active. We're very active.
And where are you finding your best deals? Are they on like the commercial real estate sites and
they're direct broker relationships.
Okay.
And of course, we're on the distribution list for some of these brokers as well, but they're all direct broker. And a lot of what we see is off market, like haven't been listed yet.
Okay, gotcha. So in terms of building a relationship with brokers, what tips might you have for someone who's new at it?
Do you say building relationships with brokers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, it's probably best to start with someone with a junior, like a beginner, like a broker that's working under another broker.
Okay.
Because they typically have more time and they're learning the system too. So if you go direct to a senior, he'll sense that if you're new at it, he'll sense it right away.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically
I
the
mean, but
senior.
I guess when you talk to them, they'll know and you'll know who you're talking to, right? I mean, because it's a whole language thing. You have to get comfortable with the language. NOIs and LOIs and OPMs and PPMs and PSAs and yes.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they know how much history you've done, they'll know instantly. And you can ask them the same questions. How much how much they produce and all that.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, I did want to go over one other thing here. I don't know if you have to drop or you want to stay. I was going to show something from the American Apartment Owners Association. Do you have a few minutes to hang out?
okay. I have another call to get on pretty soon, so I'll move on. But thank you. Thanks
All
for
right.
having
Well,
me on
thank you
today.
so much. Yeah, thank you. And your website
very
again is ecmultifamily.com, right?
Yes, correct. Eagle City Multifamily. The reason for the name, I lived in Emory, Texas, for years, and that's the Eagle capital of Texas, by the way, in
Oh,
case you wondered why the name. So there's bald eagles in around Lake Fork, Emory, Texas, near Dallas, east of Dallas.
wow. So send
So
some pictures.
that's where
I'd love to see one.
okay. Yeah, I see them every so often.
All right. Well, I
Alrighty.
really appreciate your time, Herb. This was great. And we'll encourage people to sign up for your website and to listen to your replays on YouTube.
Would love to see you on our Mastermind,
And visit your mastermind. That's right.
open call.
Open call.
Absolutely. We always have a speaker on, a guest speaker that's a industry expert, apartment operator. So,
That's
all
awesome.
righty.
Well,
Well,
thank you so
okay.
much. I
Thank you.
really
Aaron.
appreciate your
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Hmm. I'll just share my screen. Somewhere around here, I gotta move this and. Okay. So I'm not sure if you're familiar, but let me just go here. There's a site called AAOA, the American Apartment Owners Association. And you can sign up for a free newsletter. And they had an interesting article about the future based on the generations, like how demand for Internet of Things enabled technology is transforming rental properties. And so they break it down by the generations: boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, and Gen Z's born from 1995 to 2012, and then beyond that, it's called Generation Alpha, Gen Alpha. But what's interesting here is they're saying that, you know, the different ages. Hold on, let me move this thing again. That as you know, the people are renting depending on their age, they're looking for more and different technology. I'm not sure why. So it says, like in 2023, Gen Z and their predecessors, Gen Y, millennials, are driving the demand for smart apartment technology, while boomers and Gen X are still a factor in the rental market. The number of Gen Z renters will increase as they grow up and graduate from college and find jobs. And so what they're saying is, hold on, just, for some reason, it's not letting me scroll down, but they're saying that like Gen Z renters value smart technology and amenities so much that they'll pay $30 more a month in rent for that. And so as the generations change, you want to think about different types of ways in which you can improve the technology of an apartment so that you know, you can collect more rent. So they're saying 86% of Gen Y respondents would be willing to pay more per month a unit with a remote controlled device or automated features. 55% of Gen Yers are likely to pay more for high net worth door locks, and 61% of Gen Y, which are the millennials here from 1977 to 1974.
94.
Sorry, 94, are more likely to rent a unit because of electronic access, such as keyless entry. So this is something to keep in mind. I'm just going to stop sharing. Can you take over for 1 second? I'll be right back. I just have to make a pit stop.
Take over what? Hey, how you doing?
Hey Ken, how you doing, Kenneth?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Great to meet you, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So I don't know what she wants me to take over, but
Probably just to maybe share where we're from, what we're doing. If you would like to share a few words about yourself to introduce
yeah,
yourself.
basically, I don't think I've met you before. Don and I, we actually own single families right now, and we're looking to move to the next facet of our life. So we're basically trying to educate ourselves, and being that we're new attitude. Donna went to a couple of Grant Cardone's uh, functions, and she decided to try to help the less experienced people, including myself, because uh, she's more the brains, and I'm I can't say brawn, but you know she's more gifted at that than I am. So here we are, uh, running a little mini session here. So trying to, and Herb was actually on our last one, and he said he would come back and give a presentation on what tools he uses to run his business. So we thought it would be pretty interesting. So
Yeah. So Svetlo, I'm really curious because you went to Las Vegas, and I wanted to hear your experience of the Ogden property. And
Yeah, I was in we saw probably like 7 or 8 properties in Vegas. So technically I drove the bus.
you
So
drove the bus.
yeah, so I was driving like 150 miles an hour, never stop
Wow.
on a stop sign, running through all the red lights, running over people. Of course not. I'm just messing around.
I didn't think you were doing 150 in a
It's
bus.
Vegas, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But everybody had a lot of fun. We were probably about 15 or 16 people. There was quite a few people with their own cars also. And the truth of the matter is, I got to experience in real walking through the buildings. And I lived in Vegas since 1997, basically. So I
Okay.
do know the city to the teeth, I would say. I've
Okay.
lived in California, but for 12 years, but 2 or 3 months, every month I'll be driving back to Vegas to see my brother, my middle brother. He lives in Vegas.
So nice.
So my best dentist is there. Actually, my brother's boyfriend. My brother is gay, which is all good. That was a surprise for me when I came to United States, but it's all good. My point is, the first thing what got my attention, the downtown is truly coming back. So everything that Alex is saying about, with my experience, and I haven't been in downtown for years because it was getting run down probably like 12, 15 years ago. So last when I was there, but to go and party is, it's fun, used to be, but then it's, I don't know, it's kind of like lost my ways. I didn't provide the time to go, and life took me. I was in California, so I didn't have time really to go to downtown per se. So 15 years later or so, the roads have been improved. The walking, the sidewalks have been, everything is new. A lot of brand new buildings, rebuilds, the new casino. As a matter of fact, my best friend right now, he's going on a lot of dates. And every week, at least 3 times, on average 2-3 times a week, sometimes 4, he gets to go to downtown.
Oh.
So he shared a great experience, a lot of fun. So like mid-age, 30, 35, 40, and 50, 55 to 60 years old people, they do a lot of gatherings, a lot of live bands is going on. So downtown is back, to what I knew. And right now I share with him, it's like, I cannot wait next time in Vegas. We're going downtown, but we're going to go and, party, just see the lights again. I've seen the lights. It's amazing. So that building, that the
So
Ogden
the
building,
lights you're talking about, that Fremont experience.
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right?
the Fremont. Yeah, yep. So the Fremont, the Ogden deal is literally, I think it's like 2 blocks from the Fremont experience. So it's a walking distance for like 7-8 minutes, like 10 minutes at the most. I mean, no, 7-8 minutes if you walk just normal. If you just
Okay.
don't rush or chill, probably 10 minutes. So it's very much nearby. All fresh, renewed, looks amazing. So definitely, I mean, if I would have had 50,000, the minimum, probably more, I'll be putting my money in. So actually, I'm thinking to talk to a very good friend of mine, me personally. Alex doesn't suggest that, but to offer me like 10%, borrow 50,000 and invest in myself. If
Oh.
my brother's friend doesn't do it, he owns a trucking company.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, financially he's savvy. He owns different properties and this and that. So I've been building a relationship with him. I want to get him into real estate. So we'll see. I'll have a conversation with him. So today I've sent to people that relatively, you know, I'm close to them. I know them as friends. The 100% IRR video, which is about 18 minutes video from Alex. So basically what he's explained, you're familiar with that, Don. I'm sure you've seen it because you've been on Alex's Monday phone calls, you know,
Yeah,
very
I'm not sure I've
consistently.
seen the 100% IRR video, but that's okay. Go
So
ahead.
what it is, I mean, you're familiar with, he explains the buckets. So basically, you invest 100,000 in a multifamily. It's the basic concept is very quick.
Uh-huh.
And on 6% interest per year, the cash on cash. And the goal is you exit is on average every 4 years. So he does bring it up. It could be 2 to 3 years. It could be 5 to 6 years. But let's say on average, conservatively, let's say it's 4 years. I prefer me personally, to save a more conservative 5. Okay?
Yeah, I'll say 5.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I like the 5. But he was talking about on that video per se 4 years. So here we go. You're gonna have $6,000 per year. So then after 4 years, if you whether you refinance or sell, if you refinance, your money still stays in the deal. You're familiar with that. So
Yeah.
when you take your money out, you put in a due deal. So that duplicates. So it's gonna be 12,000. So in 8 years, it's gonna be 24,000. In 16 years, it's going to be X amount of money. So it kind of like how that multiplies, and within 16 years, how do you get over 100% IRR, the return of your money? Because it's not that you're going to have 800,000. They have that you have to multiply your money times 8, but your equity multiplies times 2 of that. So technically, you're worth $1.6 million.
Oh,
You're
okay.
worth. And that's how the 100% IRR comes to play on
Okay, yeah.
average for those 16 years.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember that conversation, but I don't remember him saying it as 100% IRR, but yeah.
You're
That's-
right, he has not, but that's something new he added on when he was talking about. And then another thing he brought up if you do those 4 years periods of time, and like I said, I prefer the 5. So that would be if you go to the 20th year, the IRR is going to be not 100%, it's going to be 160. So it's the calculation is that
160.
it's 160%. Instead of 100, it's going to be 160%
Oh, wow.
on the 20th year. Yes, it multiplies so exponentially. On the 24th year, it would be 240% IRR on average. If you stay consistent on every year, 4 years. But this is just a structure. I mean, it's never going to go exactly 4 years. We both know that. I mean, we all know that. So, but on average, because like a storage deal in South Savannah, they should be able to cash out this year. They got in last year, so less than 2 years, they're going to be able to pull the investors' money out. So they were already there as they walked into the deal within the first 6 months, but they're not rushing into it. So I'm talking about storage units. You know, I'm excited about storage.
Yeah,
units.
I know he's doing that with John Sidoti and Mike, I think Billy. They were JVs.
Yeah, Mike Belly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. So What I'm saying is I would like to bring some investors in. Me truly, I believe in it. I underwrote the deal directly with Ben through Legends. Ben is a very big numbers guy. Me too.
Ben
So
Caldenbeck, or however you
yeah,
say it.
I'm gonna hold on. I have his name. Just 1 second. I you know, to admit it, I should know, but now it's gonna bug me.
That's okay.
That, well, I'm not okay, but here we go. I just pull it up. Hold on. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You're gonna bug me.
What beach are you at in that picture of yours?
I'm sorry.
You when you switched to your picture, you were on a bike by a beach. What beach is that?
On the beach, the bike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what beach were you at? You were on a
Oh.
boardwalk on your bike?
Yes, I
Oh
was
wow,
in.
Ed is joining.
Yeah, I was in Florida,
Okay.
cycling,
Okay.
which was amazing. That was like a couple of years ago,
Uh-huh.
and so here we go. Ben, oh, I guess full name is not.
Caldenbach or something.
Yes. Okay, somebody's texting. Okay, he needs to.
Hi,
Caden.
Ed.
Caden.
Hi, sorry I'm way late. I guess we're in the informal part.
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah.
informal part, which is fine. Do you know Svetlo? Svetlo, Ed Svetlo. I met Ed a year ago, December, at the Grant Cardone event.
Mm.
And Svetlo is part of Legends Equity Group. That's how we met, which is
Hi there.
this guy,
Okay.
Alex Lovely, who was also at the event we were at, Ed. And he started a mastermind group. So
Oh, okay.
Svetlo,
I just started attending with a new group here in Michigan. Just kind of, I went to an investor conference for one thing, and then I met a couple of people there, and then I found one that's working locally. He was